So, well, so this is around 2010. Like, when did you transition to apartments? Because, you know, that's something I do want to talk about.
Yeah. Apartments came in, bought my first apartment in December of 2012.
Okay, so you were in it for a while, because I think that along the way, because you had success on the single family side, right? I mean, in 2011, 2012, it was really hard to make a mistake. Like, you were making money if you were doing single family houses.
But I figured out how to make mistakes. So here's really what happened. Like, I don't usually get into this story, but we got some time. So I had 10 units by
10 houses.
10 houses. Yeah, 10 doors, all single family houses. One was 2 houses on a single parcel. And then one was like my own primary residence that I was house hacking. So I had 2 of my buddies renting from me, paying me rent to live in the other 2 bedrooms of my house. So I had 10 total houses. And I think I got it figured out, dude, right? Like, my residual income coming in paid for all my operating expenses, all my debt service, all my private money lender payments, all my personal expenses, and put another $1,000 a month in my pocket. So I'm like, dude, I'm not rich, but I'm financially free. I think I got this figured out, right? So then I go and bought a Mercedes. And then I went and bought a private membership to a business and like dining club. And then I started going on some fancy vacations. And I just started racking it up. I didn't have the cash, right?
Your expenses were catching up.
But I had this credit card and I had this residual income, and I think it's just gonna pay for that all the time. So I started racking up expenses on my credit card. And then somebody shines a dangly object in front of me. It was a network marketing company. And it made sense, right? It actually aligned with real estate really well. It was like home services, like internet and home security and TV and electricity and natural gas.
ACN.
Yeah, that's the one. And so I'm like, well, I know I'm in real estate. I have my own rentals. I know a bunch of people who have management companies that could push this. And so I joined, and dude, I drank the juice hard for about 2.5 years. And I had some immediate success, and then it waned off considerably. But the relationships that I got out of that and the personal development that I got out of it was like unbelievably impactful, that I still use a lot today.
Who's the guy? Robert Allen, right? 12 Streams of Income, or whatever it is. That was one of the things he talked about. You know, I never joined an MLM. Might be joining one in the very near future. You know, I kind of talked about that offline earlier. But he talks about like the importance of joining an MLM in your real estate when you're trying to get multiple streams of income. Not because MLMs are great, but it teaches you networking, marketing, relationships, personal development. There are so many things that it teaches you that doesn't really necessarily help the MLM business. But the skills you need will apply everywhere.
That's how you keep people, right?
Yeah.
If you're not paying them anything, you got to give them value somewhere else. And the value that you give them is in the personal development side of things and the relationships. And they don't want to leave their friends. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, that alone is a concept that people can employ in their own businesses, right? It's not always about the money. Hey, this person's going to stay with me if I give them a raise. That's not necessarily the case. If you empower them, if you give them personal development, if you help them improve and gain new skills, they're going to appreciate you more than just a $5,000 raise, you know? So that's what the MLM business knows really, really well. Dude, I was so sold out on it that I sold 9 of the 10 houses that I had. I only kept my own. And so I sold them, and I went all in on that for like 2 years. And then just found myself completely like destitute. Like, I had $80 in my bank account
What happened?
In August of 2012.
So you had this really lucrative real estate thing going.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of put that on the back burner.
Well, I thought that I could generate more revenue quicker, more residual income quicker by pursuing the MLM business.
So this is something that's, I think, everyone in our space, everyone that's watching this podcast, we all suffer from shiny object syndrome.
Yep.
And it sounds like you got a really bad one there.
And I have a way to combat that, and I want to come back to it a little bit later. But it's called the 3-year rule. But I want to come back to that.
Okay.
It's powerful. So I dedicated 2 years to this, and I sold my real estate off, and thinking that I was going to make more money in this other venture faster and like exponentially, without having overhead, without having loans, without having property taxes and all that kind of stuff. It's like exponentially scalable, at least theoretically. And then I just realized, dude, like I was in the top 1% of performance, but I had 800, 900 people like in my downline, and whatever, it was 3,500 customers. And dude, there was one month, it was in August of 2012 that I was the only person who got a check on the entire team. And you start thinking like, dude, and these are people who are showing up, who are following the system, who are like doing what they're supposed to be doing, and it wasn't working, right, for other people, and it wasn't working for me. Like, and my check was like $60, right? It wasn't like a big check. So, like I remember like being so broke. Like I was selling IKEA furniture from my house, or like Walmart furniture, side tables, selling DVDs for $2 to $3 a piece, trying to just be able to buy food. You know, I'd go to Subway and I'd go and buy a foot-long sub at lunchtime for $5, $5 foot-long. I'd load it up with as many veggies and all the free stuff as you could. I'd eat half of it at lunch, eat half of it at dinner, and then I wouldn't eat again until the next day when I went to Subway again. So like I was intermittent fasting before it was cool to intermittent fast.